Don't forget to unmute yourself, maybe, José, because we don't hear
Yes,
you.
yes, sorry. Yeah, I just want to talk about the Energularity, which is a concept I invented when I was at Singularity University as founding faculty of energy and environmental systems almost 15 years ago. And I have been developing, but lately I have been on other transhumanist ideas, and also, as many of you know, organizing the uh, Transvision conference. So all of you are welcome to come to Madrid in October after the pandemic to this big celebration of all exponential technologies, including environmental issues, energy issues. I work with the Millennium Project and I lead the group in Iberoamerica. And one of the main areas we cover is energy, which is actually my background. I worked many years in energy. And when we founded Singularity University, I was in charge of energy and environmental systems because they are linked. They are linked. They are not separate. All of you are familiar with the idea of the singularity, popularized by my friend Ray Kurzweil, who will be presenting his new book in Madrid in October in Transvision. His new book is called The Singularity is Nearer, Nearer. So this is accelerating, as you know, and we will reach the singularity, immortality, and the energularity, all by the year 2045. Ray Kurzweil, as I said, has popularized the idea of the singularity by 2045. Aubrey de Grey, the Methuselarity and longevity escape velocity, and me, the energularity or the energy singularity. Everything is changing exponentially faster, smaller, cheaper, and better. And all of you know this from many technologies like computers, for example, or even medicine, the genome sequence, which is even more exponential than Moore's law. And it is twice exponential in cost and in time. But now energy is being disrupted by exponential technologies. But many people don't see it because they think linearly. The two largest international organizations that were looking after this are linear thinkers, linear. They have been consistently wrong in their projections of renewables, wrong for not one, not two, not five, not 10, 20 years wrong. They are linear thinkers. They don't see exponentially. But if you look at photovoltaics and renewable energies, they are truly growing exponentially. That is a logarithmic scale, and this is not stopping. This is continuing and accelerating. On the other hand, the prices are also dropping exponentially. Production increasing exponentially, prices dropping exponentially. And we have already passed what is normally called grid parity, when solar energy is cheaper than fossil fuels energy. And this is non-stoppable from now onwards. Why? Because if you look how much energy potential there is in the planet, the big elephant in the room is solar power. Solar power is bigger than anything we have on this planet now that is already produced. And my alma mater, MIT, about 10 years ago, created the first energy initiative. And it was so successful that now every person, every student at MIT has to take a course on energy. And the creator of this became Secretary of Energy of the USA under the Barack Obama administration. So energy is big, big, even in my alma mater. And all companies are moving into renewables, like British Petroleum, which now is beyond petroleum, because it is no longer oil and it is no longer British. Or Shell. Shell is looking at sustainable scenarios where we have a lot of solar energy, wind energy, biomass. So all of this continues, and we are going through energy waves of decarbonization. Before it was mostly coal, and before that was trees, good, a lot of carbon, but we are decarbonizing ourselves into solar energy, which eventually comes from hydrogen and no carbon. As Sheikh Ahmed Yamani said, the Stone Age did not end because of lack of stones. It ended because of a new technology, like the same is happening to the oil age, is ending, not because of lack of oil, because of a new technology. Also, we have the problem of climate change. And for those who still don't believe it, you can see how climate change is really happening. It really is happening. So we have to be careful about climate change. But what has happened in the last few years? Germany is leading the world with the energy transition, Energiewende in German. And in just one decade, it has been able to produce 30% of its total energy from renewables and 50% of electricity in one decade. Incredible. And other countries, even oil countries like the United Arab Emirates, are working on this. Even in Egypt, they are moving with solar power next to the pyramids. And we are also beginning to use energy better. If you look at the USA energy matrix, over half of the energy is wasted. So we are learning how not to waste energy, and that is easier than producing energy. So the internet is being created, the energy internet, from dirty energy to clean energy. And this is happening now with new companies like Tesla that is disrupting completely energy and transportation. In fact, so much that Tesla today is worth more than all car companies combined. All of them are worth less than Tesla. This says something about the future of electric vehicles. And then they have the superchargers, and they made a lot of publicity with the largest gigafactory. But that gigafactory was only the first of 5. And now the Chinese are saying they are building gigafactories much bigger than the Tesla gigafactories. The whole world is moving electrically very, very fast because prices are going down quickly, as you can see from historical examples like the Model T car from Ford, Model T, look at how it came down exponentially with production. And the same is happening with the Tesla units, exactly the same. For those who do not believe this is going to happen in 1 decade or 2 decades, look at New York. In 1900, it was all horses, except for one car, only one car. The rest were horses. Look at 13 years later, it was all cars except for one horse. It happened in 13 years, and this is going to happen again. Look at history again of cars and horses in New York. We picked at a pig horse. We had pig horse in New York in the middle of World War II, in the middle of a pandemic. You know, the Spanish flu, remember that? Well, even with war, with flu, the transportation changed radically from horses to cars in 1 decade in the USA. The same is happening now with telephones. As we all know, we moved from fixed telephones to mobile telephones. And the same is happening also even with taxis and Uber, shared economy, the sharing economy. This is happening in industry after industry, disruption after disruption. So how much solar energy do we need? Only 6 blocks of 100 kilometers by 100 kilometers. They could be enough to power human civilization as it is today. And we are going to have also maybe a space solar power like we do in the International Space Station. It is solar panels. I visited Moscow and Nikolai Kardashev, who created the Nikolai Kardashev energy of the planet. And we are just babies. We have almost unlimited amounts of energy. Kardashev talked about 3 types of civilization. Civilization type 1, that uses the energy of the planet, civilization type 2, that uses the energy of the solar system, and civilization type 3, that uses the civilization of the galaxy. Well, we are not even type 1 civilization. We are not even 10%. We are not even 1% of type 1 civilization. We have a lot to learn, but we are learning fast. We are learning fast, and this continues. So this is what I call the Energularity, the energy singularity that we will be reaching by 2045, when we become powered by solar power, reaching civilization type 1, according to Nikolai Kardashev. This is fundamental because we are going to colonize the rest of the solar system and beyond. As Neil Armstrong said in 1969, when we first landed on the moon. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And we are nothing really in a nothing galaxy, in a fantastic universe. So we need to go to the moon. We need to go to Mars. This is also beginning. This is really fantastic. We live in incredible times. 3 missions to Mars last year. China, the Arab Emirates, and the USA. 2 more coming next year. The European Union, Russia, Japan, and private companies. Tesla is coming. SpaceX says that in 2023 to the moon, 2026 to Mars, faster than NASA can even dream of. And the first Martians will be humans. We will be the first Martians. We will terraform Mars, and that takes a lot of energy, a lot of energy. But as Russian scientist Konstantin Tsiolkovsky said, the Earth is the cradle of humanity, but we cannot live forever in a cradle. So we need to evolve. We live to pass our tiny planet. We need to colonize the universe. And for that, we need energy and we need an environment. So let's light up the world. As the Chinese say, the world is beautiful, but there are sad parts like North Korea. North Korea is like a primitive country with no internet, the last country in the planet without internet to the people. And South Korea, on the other hand, has the best internet in the world. Where do we want to go? The way of the future or the way to the past? So we need to meditate. I love to meditate. Hinduism, Buddhism, we need to meditate because as the Chinese say, there is yin and yang. There is the dark side of the force. And let me finish with this beautiful Chinese word that means crisis, because crisis has 2 characters in Chinese. The first one is danger, but the second one is opportunity. We live in the incredible time, the best opportunity. So come and join us in Madrid to celebrate the future, the next 200 years of humanity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, José. We have time for 2 questions. If the answers are short, there are 3 questions, but I will let you answer to my question in the chat. So the first question is from Indra. How much does progress depends upon political stability? And I will also read the second one directly. What do you think that growth curve of energy demand looks like?
Obviously, political stability is important for anything, but this will happen with or without political stability. Just like the transition from horses to cars happened, or the transition from fixed line to mobile lines happened, or many other of these transitions, this will happen with or without political stability. Maybe faster or slower. So maybe instead of 10 years, 15 or 20 years, but it will happen. The second question, I forgot quickly.
So the second question is, what do you think the growth curve of energy demand looks like?
Excellent point. Because actually, when we electrify, we are going to reduce energy consumption, because electric vehicles and electricity in general is much more efficient than fossil fuels, than oil. So actually, it is estimated that consumption will drop 30% once we electrify everything. So this is incredible. We will not need to produce so much once we move into electricity. And there is a comment, if the first Martians will be robots, well, they are there already. The robots are on Mars, but the humans are also going on 2026.
Okay, so I won't, but I will still ask my question. I like your optimism, José, but there is one fact at the moment is we are going better for everything concerning renewable energy, but the amount of non-renewable energy used in the world is still increasing. And this is not sustainable. What's your solution to really stop that on an exponential way?
Well, as I explained, technology is improving so fast, and we consume every time less and less energy per person while we do more and more. So there is a fantastic book that David can talk about, More from Less. We will produce more with less energy. And this is happening continuously. So we need less energy. And as I said, the forecast is a decrease of 30% energy consumption once we fully electrify. So there is no collapse. And I support all of this transition also because it is economically profitable. This is profitable. Solar energy today is more profitable than petroleum. This is why it will happen, because it is good and it is profitable, and we will consume less. So don't worry about that. We don't need so much energy. We become more efficient.
Okay, thank you, José. The rest for the discussion also. And now the word to Nell Watson, who will speak about a quite interesting concept that that was the first time I heard about it, and I'm really